Welcome to Notes from the New Heaven.
Join me, Reverend Sage Cole, founder of the Helen Keller Spiritual Life Collaborative, each week as I share different doctrinal truths of the new church that ground my life, that inspired the life of the great Helen Keller, and that create a portal for the new life that so many of us long for.
This week, God as love, wisdom, and use.
God, the divine source of all that is made up of three primary components: love, wisdom, and usefulness. And this is a good day to be recording this message as I sit here with the sun on my face. Because the insight that Emanuel Swedenborg brought to us is that the sun is a powerful representation, a powerful correspondence of what God is. As we know, all life on this planet owes its physical life to the reality of the sun, to the sun's heat and the sun's light, and we would cease to exist if the sun went out of the sky. And in that same way, we would cease to exist if God was not God, if we were not all connected to this powerful source that brought life into being and continues to bring life into being. And these three descriptions of God's character, of God's reality, are really useful in my experience to understand who I am and what matters. So first off, God is love. The primary energy of God is this loving energy, this energy of unity, of presence, this energy of heat and life. It's the heat from the sun that is primary, and we could suggest, and Swedenborg suggests, that love is the primary reality of God. It is the substance of life. This is where in the Helen Keller Spiritual Life Collaborative, Be Love comes from. It comes from that first declaration that God is love and we are love and we are here to be that love. And that energy, that life, it is what is driving this show. It is what is making possible this experience that we have. And so that love, it is the substance of all things, of all life. It is the primary reality of God. And then the second part of the Trinity is that God is wisdom. And wisdom, as Swedenborg describes it, is the form that love takes. And so while God is first and foremost this love, this energy, this heat, this life, this love also longs to express itself and to be something. And what is so incredible about this universe that we inhabit is that it is these many things: planets and stars and grass and rocks and blue sky and animals and human beings. And so all of these forms of this substance of love are created, are crafted, are expressed through this power of wisdom. Wisdom is the form that love takes. And this is a vital aspect of the divine. That the divine is this loving energy that seeks to live out in form. And this is why and how the universe came to be, how God came to create this universe that we are a part of. So wisdom, truth, what is true, what is wise, is what is real, and what is being expressed, what is being experienced in the forms that we inhabit. In our Trinity that we use, we speak of be honest, to connect with this invitation of truth. I use the word honesty instead of truth because honesty is something we can do. And our Trinity, be love, be honest, be useful, is an attempt to consider what we can do moment to moment, day to day, to connect with these divine energies. Honesty is the invitation as individual human beings to perceive, reflect on, witness, and be present to our lives. And that as we do that, we can actually come into deeper alignment with what is really true, what is really wise. Right now in the world, we are at a powerful threshold with all of the information that's available to us. Internet, artificial intelligence, so much truth is out there, right? So many words, so many descriptions of what this experience is. And we might say that all of those descriptions, all of those words are only wise, are only true insofar as they reflect our actual lived experience. The truth is what's embodied, what's made flesh, what's existing in true form and in true life and relationship. And so Be Honest is the invitation to align ourselves back with this wisdom, this form that God is making manifest in the world, the reality of life. And then the last portion of the Trinity, love, wisdom, and usefulness. Swedenborg describes this in some different ways. He talks about it as the divine proceeding. It's about action. It's about movement. God is love. God is heat and life. God is wisdom. God is form and light. And then God is also the movement, the life, the flow, the activity that occurs within that framework. And another thing to think about when we consider usefulness is that it is the marriage of love and wisdom. That when love is present and wisdom is present, the two together form useful action, useful movement, useful creation and co-creation. And so usefulness is the flow of energy. It's occurring right now in the singing of the birds, the breeze, the words coming out of my mouth, the breath moving through my lungs. It is the movement of life that occurs over time. And a big thing to remember about usefulness, because it's a word that has been misinterpreted for maybe thousands of years, is it isn't about overproduction. It's not about doing all the time or always making yourself of use to others. But it's much more about that wise, loving flow. It's about responding in a way that is useful, in a way that is needed. And sometimes the useful thing is a moment of rest. Sometimes it's activity. Sometimes it's play. Sometimes it's creation. Right now, and at different times in history, different things are useful and needed. Sometimes we're in a time of creation, and sometimes we're in a time of destruction. So usefulness is the third part of the Trinity, and it is the divine flow that occurs between all three of these energies. The heat of love, the light of wisdom, and then the dance between the two and between all of us. To understand God as love, wisdom, and usefulness helps me to understand myself as a child of God, that I too am grounded in this love, that I too carry wisdom and am formed in wisdom and can appreciate and be grateful for this incredible human form I've been given, even when my material eyes may be critical of it or wish it functioned a little bit better. Even when that happens, I can remember the gratitude for my breath, for my ability to move and live and love. And then to honor and recognize usefulness as the natural response to that, and that I have a useful part to play in this larger dance of life. To understand God in this way is deeply grounding to me, day to day, moment to moment. And Be Love, Be Honest, Be Useful is a way for me to align with that divinity in an intentional, practical, lived way with myself and with others.
Thanks for tuning in. And if any of these truths particularly speak to you, I hope you'll join us this fall for some larger conversations that I want to hold, because I'd love to hear your experience with them. These truths only are true insofar as we live them, and I'm so excited to hear about your experience. Many blessings, friends.